So, as anyone who knows me knows, I will often say about one or times a week that I absolutely hate Star Wars. Now, that's not necessarily true. You see, my main problem with Star Wars is actually the people themselves who like it, or the fandom. Growing up, I had parents who were born in the 70s. They grew up with Star Wars and so forced me to watch it. My younger sister's obsessed with it. I've seen all the films about 50 times, and that's not even exaggerating. But as I got older, and I got online, and I looked at what other people thought of it, I found myself growing to hate it more and more. You see, there is a sense of entitlement in this fandom, that people own the works. You don't. Lucasfilms do, and now Disney. I've seen people just blatantly decide that parts of it aren't canon just so their theories will work. That specific characters are actually like this or like that, or this didn't happen. Hell, when 8 came out, people started up a petition to have it struck from the canon just because they didn't like it. And I think that ruins it. It's just a film in the end. It's just something to sit down and watch. I know people get into it, and I know Star Wars is just massive, but I still feel that maybe people need to sit back and reflect on what they're doing. No, we don't need to strike it from the canon just because you didn't like it. No, these characters are actually just assholes. Just think about it. Think about what you're doing. You like this series. Obviously you do. No one puts hundreds of hours into things they don't like. So maybe turn all of this vitriol into something more positive. Draw things, write things you like about it. Focus on that instead. Now, of course, I'm not saying that anything is absolutely without criticism. In fact, I myself had a few issues with the film. For instance, I really didn't like the whole scene with Leia in space, as I know most of my friends didn't either. I felt it was almost rude to Carrie Fisher, to have her just keep coming back throughout it. Everyone in the cinema, every time she appeared, could just kind of feel a bit tense. Because it's a film, but we knew she was dead, and we knew that they were going to have to handle that somehow, and they didn't. I mean, my favourite way to deal with it would have been if she just died in space, and that had been it. If we'd just had that few moments with her, and she just closed her eyes, and that was it. I liked at the end, of course, that they did pay their respects, but I felt having the CGI and bringing her back was just too much. Also, I really didn't like the character of General Holo. I thought she had a really bad character design. Honestly, she looks like someone's OC. The weird purple hair and halo and the weird grey dress. And I felt that as a character, she was stupid. Why was she doing what she did? Why not tell people? You basically jeopardized everything. It's entirely your fault. But, you know, like I said, I can't change anything, but I have my criticisms. Although if there is one thing I think could have been removed, it would have been the weird milk alien. I didn't want to see that. No one wanted to see that. Seriously, please, we didn't want to see that. Like, bad. But like I said, I hate Star Wars. Or, more accurately, I hate the Star Wars fandom. So, I'm going to try, as I've already said myself, to be a bit more positive. What did I like about Star Wars The Last Jedi? Well, I actually liked the story. It was engaging, I didn't want to look away, I didn't want to eat my popcorn or rush off to the toilet, I wanted to see what would happen. Yeah, there were a few lulls in it. I thought like the whole bit with the casino was a bit too long and a bit moot in the end. But it was pretty. The VFX in it were amazing. I mean, when like anything happened in space, it was beautiful. The particulates were just gorgeous. And it did what a film was supposed to do. And I think with these rise of fandoms, people forget that. It's a film. It's meant to entertain you. And for 2.5 hours, I was entertained. I really couldn't look away. I thought it was actually a really good film. And I feel like people are focusing too much, way too much, on the negatives of it. So maybe just give it a rewatch. Try and put yourself into a more positive frame of mind. And hopefully things won't seem as bad. I know I'm just a random person on the internet. You don't have to listen to me. But I really think that maybe I could hate The Last Jedi a little less if people were to just think, and if people were to just kind of focus that maybe this is how they want to take the story. Like I said, the fandom doesn't own it. They don't get to dictate what happens, and you're allowed to be annoyed at certain creative decisions, but ultimately, you don't have the script. You don't know where 9 is going, you don't know what's going to happen with the Han Solo movie, none of us do. Except, of course, anyone writing it. So just focus on what we have. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day if every single piece of canon doesn't line up. I mean, yeah, they're a massive corporation and they can probably afford a few continuity writers. But ultimately, just enjoy it. It didn't kill your parents, it didn't steal your pets from you. It was just a film. And it was a pretty good film, actually. So yeah, I hate Star Wars still.